Hello, everybody, and Happy New Year. The New Year is amongst us, folks. Happy New Year. It's going to be a great time. And I know many people are thinking, what in the world are you talking about New Year? Have you lost your mind? It is springtime. It is not January 1st. And I live my life and follow the Bible, the Holy Bible. I have several different ones here. And I understand we have a creator. Genesis 1:1 talks about him who created all things. Hallelujah. The heavens and the earth and everything. And what the Bible is, for those of you who don't understand, don't know, it's something, it's a form of something most people hang up on their refrigerators every day. And some of you are thinking, what are you talking about? I don't hang a Bible up on my refrigerator. Well, if there was a way you can, you should, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a calendar. You all hang up a calendar on your refrigerator or somewhere else in your house, and you look at it, and you look at it, and your life goes by this calendar, right? Well, the Bible is really a calendar. That's what it is. The Bible is a calendar. And within this calendar, it has dates of history and dates of future events and dates of what's going on now. And we have daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly days on the calendar to observe. It's a calendar. And our calendar that we use today starts on January 1st. The day when we start a day starts at 12:01 in the morning. All of these things are not from our Creator. Our Creator's calendar is different. In our Creator's calendar, the first day of the year is this event called Passover or Pesach, which is the spring feast or the spring celebrations. This is the first day of the year according to him. On our Creator's calendar, we have a weekly, a monthly, and a yearly appointments to keep. Just as you would write appointments on your calendar, he wrote these appointments in the calendar. So what it comes down to, folks, is we have a choice to listen to man's calendar or our Creator's calendar. And that's what it comes down to. And let's look for a second at not just when the calendar starts, but what are these appointments to keep. So you might go to your local calendar and look and say, well, in this calendar, it says I have a dentist appointment on this date. I have an appointment with a doctor on this date. I got to visit this doctor on that day. You visit a lot of doctors because many of you aren't eating according to our Creator's guidelines and instructions, but you got all these appointments. Maybe you got to take your children to a school this day or do something with them that day. Maybe the repairman's coming on this day. And so you got your calendar filled with all these important dates and everything else. Well, let me tell you a little bit about our Creator's calendar. Every Saturday is an appointment with him. Every Saturday. It's an appointment with him. Just like with your spouse, you might have a date night, right? Well, Saturday is the date day or the date day and the date night with our Creator. And this is what he wants. When he created the calendar, and he said, my creation that I love so much, I'm always there for you, but I want to spend this day with you. This is my date day every Saturday. That's the Sabbath. Every date day. Let me ask you a question. Those of you that do date night with your spouse, how upset would you be if your spouse didn't show up to the date? 1 week, 2 weeks? What about every week? Just keep that in mind. All right. So on a monthly basis, our Creator has a calendar. It says maybe they're missing the weekly one because other than me just telling them, meet me here on this day and do this, and it's marked on the calendar, let me give them a clear sign for the monthly calendar. Where could I put this? I can't hide it anywhere because I don't want them to have to look for it. I want to make it real easy for them to see this monthly date. So we look up in the sky and we see stars, we see suns, we see moons, we see all these different things. Well, there's only one sun, but we see all these different signs in the sky, right? Well, he gives us the moon, the stars, the sun, all the heavens as our signs, as signs and seasons, right? Well, the moon, the crescent of the new moon is the beginning of a new month. This is one of his set appointed times he wants us to spend with him. It's like a special date night. I love date night, my weekly date night so much. I'm going to have a special one once a month. Wonderful. Then he gives more signs. He gives his annual signs, his spring and his fall signs. So every spring we say, oh, the weather's getting better. It must be spring. Well, you know what? It just snowed in Chicago last week, and it's springtime. We can't go by the weather. What are we going to go by? Well, we can't go by man-made calendar because man-made calendar doesn't have these appointments marked off on them. We go in the Bible and we see his calendar. And in the Bible, since the beginning of time, he said, when he created this calendar, he said, every time during the spring, you are to keep these feasts, and during the fall, you to keep these feasts. And it starts off with an event called the Passover. Now, remember, when he created this calendar, he's the creator of all things and knows all things that are going to happen. So when he created this calendar, nothing had happened yet. Nothing had happened yet when it was created, but he knew what it was going to be, and he knew all about it and everything else. And there's this event called the Passover. And originally, it was about the event of the death angel passing over the house of the people that had the blood on the doorpost. Those that believed and had faith in our creator and his calendar. And then ultimately we look at the idea of sacrifices in the Bible, and we look at the Yeshua being our lamb, the Messiah who died for us. Yes, folks, somebody died for you. And you know, on our calendar, we have dates for presidents and other famous people where we take off from work and we do all these. We won't go to work this day because work's closed this day because its president died on this day, or this day, something happened or whatever. Well, our creator says, this whole calendar is summed up in one way. It's about Yeshua, our Messiah, and every single day we should remember him. And he gives us these times. There's something called the Feast of Unleavened Bread, which happens at the beginning of the year. And that is coming up in a couple of days from now. Actually, it's coming up tomorrow. It's coming up. And we have our Feast of Unleavened Bread. And then he continues on with his other feast days, and he talks about them all throughout the scriptures, his calendar, his timetable. Why do I say this and why do I bring this up this morning? Because it says in Jeremiah, know the plans I have for you. They are for good and not disaster, to give you a future and give you a hope. So his calendar is his plan. So let's say you're going to Disneyland with your family. And you got to make plans. You got to make plans to get the rental car. You got to get the air tickets. You got to get the hotel. You got to make plans. You got to plan it out. And the better you plan it out, the smoother the trip will go, hopefully, right? Well, our creator had a plan for us. And he tells us what the result is going to be to his plan, for good and not disaster, to give us a future and give us a hope. And he gives us the calendar with the dates filled out. We don't even have to fill out the dates. They're already filled out. They're already filled out. We don't have to fill them out. Now, suppose you had plans to go to Disneyland with your family, and these plans, you were waiting all year to go there, let's say, and you had the plane tickets, you had the hotel, you had everything you needed for that. And let's just say somebody showed up after you made your plans, and it didn't happen yet, but you made your plans, and they said, you know what? There's another hotel that might be more appealing to certain people for certain reasons. And you know what? There's another airline that just came out. So forget about the plane tickets you have. Get some tickets on this new airline. And you know what? That Disney park, forget about the Disney park, which would probably be a good thing. But I'm just using it as an example here. There's a new park down the block. Go to this. And the date you're going to go, they're no good. Go these different dates. So what you're doing now is you're getting away from your plan, right? Well, when you don't follow the dates on the calendar that our creator created and you do something else instead, you're getting away from his plan. And now you're doing your own plans. What does the Bible say about this? The Bible said there's a way before each person that seems right, but ends in death. So now compare these two scriptures of know the plans I have for you, they are for good and not disaster, to give you a future and give you a hope, versus there's a way that seems right according to our plans, but really ends in death. So these are the two options we have. And it says in the word today, I give before you two choices, life or death. Choose life so you may live. And the people answered not a word. The people are choosing what's more appealing to them instead of doing what's more appealing to the one who created us. And I tell you this, folks, our Creator is smarter than we are. And it says in the scriptures, I take no pleasure in the death of wicked people. I only want them to change from their wicked ways so they may live, so they can have life. That is the goal of our Creator. He wants us to have life, a spiritually abundant life, a physically abundant life on every level. He wants us to have life. Now, he wants us to do something with that life, but he wants to have life. And when we get away from his plan, it's producing death. You eat the food our Creator gave us, it produces life. You eat the foods that the world gives us, it produces death. On every single level, you have life versus death, good versus evil, blessings versus curses. But we have the choice to choose which one we want. So this other date or these other plans that are made to go against and keep people from the actual plans of our Creator is called Easter. And this is just happens to fall out this same year on the same date as Passover, or the same weekend as Passover. Now, Easter versus Passover. Passover is our Creator's plan, created on a Creator's calendar, the beginning of time by our Creator. Easter is created by really evil people doing really evil things on a man-made calendar. And people have a choice to pick one or the other. And I'm sad to say people are making the choice of death versus life. And some people say, well, I don't see any harm. I'm actually observing Yeshua and his death and resurrection. No, you're not. That's not what Easter is. That's not what it's about. And I'm not saying that's not your heart's desire to observe these things, but I'm saying when you observe this appointed time of Easter, and appointed by man, not by our Creator, you're doing the opposite of what our Creator asks you. He can only give you the result of his plan if you follow his plan. He's given us every sign and vision and what his plan is and what he wants us to do, so we would make the right choice. Folks, Easter is pagan. There's no such thing as rabbits that lay eggs. There's no such thing, all we have to do is look at history and see the pagan origins of Easter and how evil they are and how bad they are and see what's going on in the world. Now, you have that choice. Which calendar are you going to hang up? Which one are you going to follow? You have that choice. There's many free calendars out there that you could hang up with the appointed times of our wonderful Creator. Or you can choose to follow the system of man's ways and keep yourself from getting the blessings that come along with what our Creator tells us to get. You have that opportunity. And I'm excited. It is the new year. The year starting now. I'm excited for this appointment with my Creator. And I'm excited for all the appointments coming up this year. And I'm going to do my best to follow them and be there on time. Just like you'd want somebody on time if you set an appointment with them. And praise Yah that we have this guidebook, this amazing calendar. Do you understand the creation of all heaven and earth has given us a calendar with dates filled out? Do we understand how amazing that is? It's filled out. We don't have to guess. It tells us exactly what to do, when to do, and how to do it. The world's best calendar. So I want to just tell everybody here, Happy New Year, Happy Passover, Happy Feast of Unleavened Bread. And I want to warn you not to follow man's ways and follow Easter and Easter Bunny and that whole rabbit trail, pardon the pun. But there are consequences. And I know your heart might be good and have loving thoughts of why you want to go to a church on this day or on this weekend coming up to celebrate the death and the burial and the resurrection of Yeshua, our wonderful Messiah. And that's a great thing. That's better than what many people are doing when they don't even observe that. So I'm not saying that you shouldn't be thinking about these things, and not just this time of year. You should be thinking about it all year and every day, and it's a good thing, and it's a good thing. But when we use and replace Yeshua's amazing act of his death and his resurrection with paganism, and you mingle the seed and you mingle it all in there, you lose the idea of what this is about, what this isn't about. And we want to understand and observe the full understanding of this. And you know how everyone's happy during New Year and everything else, and the celebration and everything else? Well, it's the New Year, folks. Everyone tomorrow night should be having a New Year's Eve party. And then also, as it says on the calendar, to have unleavened bread for the next week or so, and to keep this and experience the blessings that come along with it. So that is our calling, or what he promised us, what he tells us to do. And you all have the opportunity and choice to do it. And I hope you make the right choice and do the right thing. So please share this with others and let people know about this amazing calendar. There's still time, if you haven't yet, depending when you're seeing this. And if you miss it this year, do it next year, to learn more about our Creator's calendar and meet together with believers on our Creator's time and our Creator's day. And more importantly, keep your appointments with our Creator. Keep them and be blessed by them. All right. So everybody have a blessed day and a blessed week, and just realize the truth and understand the truth, and let the truth set you free. Until then, everybody, put your comments or questions below the video. Please share this with others, and shalom, shalom.